So taxes are such an important part of the divorce settlement, and it's such an important thing for the matrimonial attorney to be able to spot the tax issues. So, for example, we've talked about in some of our dialogue restrictive stock. Well, restrictive stock units usually are taxed when they vest. They are treated as income at that point. And so if you are trading, for example, the idea of keeping your restricted stock and giving a payout for your restrictive stock units, make sure that you've actually taxed them appropriately, and make sure you do a true up later, that is in your agreement. Important, so that if there's a tax issue later, you can true it up. Maybe you took too little in terms of taxes or paid too little. That's important. It's also important to make sure that you spot other tax issues, such as capital gains taxes. You may want the family home, for example, but maybe you bought that family home 25 years ago with your spouse. Well, there's likely to be capital gains when you sell the family home. So you need to think about that, because you may not get credit for those capital gains at the time of your divorce if you're keeping the family home. Why not? Because nobody knows if you're going to sell it, and you're actually going to incur those capital gains taxes. So it may be wise actually to sell the family home during the divorce, or to actually figure out a way that you can both hold on to the family home and get the tax deduction, the full actual deduction, which is a $500,000 deduction as opposed to a $250,000 deduction that you can get, so that you're not paying capital gains taxes on the full amount of your gain. That's another way to think about this. There also may be actual taxes on a business. If you were to sell your business, make sure that actually you're calculating those taxes. If there's other real property, you have to think about capital gains for that. You may need to think about your brokerage accounts. Your brokerage accounts may have increased. You might have bought that stock 20 years ago. Well, there's going to likely be capital gains on that stock. So you need to think about that and how it's going to be calculated. And so if you're keeping the stock and doing a payout, you have to think about what are the tax issues here. If you're trading it or transferring it in kind, meaning that you're each going to get a portion of the stock units, whether you bought the AT&T stock, for example, at $10 or $20 or $30, that on each tranche that you bought it, you're going to split it equally so that the tax cost basis is dealt with equally. That's something to think about as you go through this divorce process.